Tesla found partly liable in fatal 2019 crash. What you need to know. Imagine this. A jury slaps a multi-million-dollar fine on a tech giant for a fatal crash. And the company's response? It's not our fault. Welcome to the wild world of Tesla's legal battle over its autopilot system. Here's the lowdown on the recent verdict that's got everyone talking. In a stunning turn of events, a Miami jury, https://www.foxbusiness.com/category/Miami, has ruled that Tesla is partially to blame for a deadly 2019 crash involving its autopilot system. The jury ordered the electric vehicle giant to cough up over $242 million in damages to the victims' families. But here's where it gets controversial. The jury found that the driver, George McGee, was primarily at fault, but Tesla still has to pay a hefty price. Let's dive in. The family of Liable Benavides Leon and her former boyfriend, Dylan Angulo, were awarded a whopping $329 million in total damages. This includes $129 million in compensatory damages to cover medical expenses, loss of income, and pain and suffering, and a staggering $200 million in punitive damages. And this is the part most people miss. Punitive damages are meant to punish the defendant and deter future misconduct. The jury sent a clear message to Tesla with that figure. Now, let's break down the numbers. The jury decided that Tesla should pay 33% of the compensatory damages, which amounts to $42.6 million, and the full punitive damages, $200 million, totaling $242.6 million. But Tesla isn't taking this lying down. The company argues that any punitive damages should be capped at 3 times the compensatory award, which would bring their maximum liability down to $170 million. They're planning to appeal the decision, claiming that the driver was entirely at fault for speeding, being distracted, and overriding autopilot. The driver, George McGee, was found responsible for 67% of the crash. However, since he was a defendant, he won't be required to pay his share of the damages. Brett Schreiber, a lawyer for the plaintiffs, had this to say about the verdict. This represents justice for Nable's tragic death and Dylan's lifelong injuries. He also pointed out that Tesla designed autopilot for controlled access highways but didn't restrict drivers from using it elsewhere. And let's not forget Elon Musk's bold claims about autopilot's capabilities. Tesla, on the other hand, maintains that the verdict is wrong and that the driver was entirely at fault. They plan to appeal, citing substantial errors of law and irregularities at trial. They also argue that no car in 2019, or even today, would have prevented this crash. But is that really the case? Or is Tesla just trying to shift the blame? In April 2019, George McGee was driving his 2019 autopilot-equipped Tesla Model S at around 62 miles per hour when he struck a parked Chevrolet Tahoe. The victims were standing next to the SUV on the shoulder, and Benavides Leon was killed while Angulo suffered serious injuries. This isn't the first time Tesla has faced lawsuits related to its self-driving vehicles, but it's the first time a case has made it to trial. So, what do you think? Is Tesla responsible for this tragic crash, or is the driver solely to blame? Should companies like Tesla be held accountable for the actions of their drivers when using semi-autonomous systems? The debate is open, and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. But remember, this is a complex issue with no easy answers. Let's keep the discussion respectful and focused on the facts. And who knows, maybe together we can find a way to make our roads safer for everyone. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Tesla's autopilot system has been a source of controversy since its inception. Some praise it as a revolutionary step towards fully autonomous vehicles, while others criticize it as a dangerous and overhyped gimmick. But one thing's for sure, this verdict will have a significant impact on the future of self-driving technology. So buckle up, folks. It's going to be a bumpy ride. And if you're a Tesla owner, you might want to keep an eye on your car. Despite Elon Musk's fallout with the White House, Tesla vehicles continue to be vandalized. But that's a story for another time. For now, let's focus on the road ahead and the challenges that lie before us. After all, the future of transportation is at stake, and it's up to us to shape it responsibly. But before we go, let's not forget the human cost of this tragedy. Liable Benavides Leon and Dylan Angulo's lives were forever changed by this crash. And while no amount of money can bring back a lost life or heal the wounds of the injured, this verdict sends a strong message to companies like Tesla. Safety should always be the top priority. So, let's raise a glass to Liable and Dylan, and let's hope that their story serves as a catalyst for change in the world of self-driving technology. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about the money. It's about the lives that hang in the balance. And that, my friends, is something we should all care about. Elon Musk's turbulent week, Tesla legal issues, Dyna chaos. Elon Musk is experiencing yet another challenging week. If studies are to be believed, having children can significantly enhance happiness. With 14 kids to his name, one might assume that Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, would be reveling in joy. Recently liberated from what many would consider a burdensome relationship with former President Donald Trump, Musk is now able to refocus on his various business ventures. However, he is also advocating for the establishment of a new political party that genuinely prioritizes the needs of the populace. Despite stepping away from the political arena, Musk's high-profile business endeavors are currently encountering significant obstacles. Let's first examine Tesla, his electric vehicle company, which has been struggling since early 2025. The market for electric vehicles, EVs, has softened considerably, a situation exacerbated by the elimination of tax credits for EV purchases in a contentious spending bill passed during Trump's administration. Furthermore, the typical demographic of EV drivers tends to lean towards liberal ideologies, while Musk's public persona has shifted to a more conservative stance over the years. This shift has led many potential Tesla customers to consider alternative brands. In a recent development, Tesla faced a major setback when a Miami jury determined that the company bore partial responsibility for a fatal crash that occurred in 2019. The jury concluded that the Autopilot feature, which was engaged at the time of the accident, contributed to the collision with a parked vehicle. This tragic incident resulted in the death of 22-year-old Liable Benavides Leon and left another individual, Dylan Angulo, seriously injured. The jury has mandated that Tesla pay $243 million to the victims, although this figure may not be the final amount. Tesla has publicly stated that they believe the verdict is incorrect and plans to appeal the decision. However, even if the appeal fails, a pretrial agreement limits Tesla's financial liability to $172 million. This ruling marks the first of its kind against Tesla, and legal experts predict it could lead to a surge in similar lawsuits. Personal injury attorney Miguel Custodio remarked that this verdict might encourage more individuals to pursue legal action against the company. In addition to these challenges, Musk has recently opened a Tesla Dyna drive-in in Hollywood, which he claims will attract customers due to its charging stations. While EV drivers are aware that charging stations are widely available at various retail locations, the allure of mingling with fellow Musk enthusiasts may be a significant draw. However, the diner has faced its own set of issues since its launch last month. Reports from patrons describe the atmosphere as chaotic, with malfunctioning robots and even injuries caused by a patio covering. One TikTok user recounted her experience as one of the worst dining experiences she has ever had, citing long wait times and cold food. Despite the diner's sleek and modern design, customers have expressed dissatisfaction with the service, leading to a disabled Yelp page due to media-related content. On February 20th, 2025, Musk made headlines by brandishing a chainsaw at a CPAC event, seemingly indicating his intent to eliminate government waste. However, a recent report suggests that his cost-cutting initiative, known as DOGE, may have resulted in significant financial waste instead. According to a report from the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, Musk's DOGE initiative reportedly generated approximately $21.7 billion in waste during its first 6 months. This includes an estimated $14.8 billion spent on compensating federal employees who were not working, $263 million related to frozen Department of Energy loans, and $155 million attributed to inefficiencies caused by mandatory weekly emails that federal workers had to send detailing their accomplishments. If Musk were required to submit such an email this week, he might find it challenging to list 5 noteworthy achievements.